Welcome to my custom go-kart. Today we're going to be slamming the rear engine simplicity. Originally this mower was Jake's and he asked me to build it similar to the John Deere 108. We wanted to lower it, but we couldn't quite do it with the vertical engine being in the rear. The axle had to be below the frame. So we decided to make it a mud mower. We rolled it and blew the engine up and kind of lost interest. The steering never quite worked out. So we got the idea to scrap the transmission, vertical engine, belt, clutch system, and we're gonna try and turn this thing more into a go-kart. Me and Jake decided we're gonna do another build together. Our last one was the grandpa scooter, and that was a long time ago. So I'm gonna turn this mower into a roller. I'm gonna send it up to him and he's gonna button it together and get it running. Yesterday we got this thing all ripped down and made some mock-ups. I'll throw some pictures on screen, but now we are going to start with the steering. Waiting on some smaller wheels for the rear before we do that. Let's get to it. Alright, so before I finish the steering here, I'm going to do some explaining. I took the front pivot axle and I cut it in half and I just welded them to the sides here. And then I had to make these spindles. Originally I actually had them flipped. It just works out that I can flip them to lower this. As per usual, we're just gonna wing it with the body. I'm not sure whether this is gonna be totally blocked off and your feet stay down here, or whether we can get a cool cutout, but we'll see what it looks like. Alright, so today should be the last day we have the mower in the shop. As you can see, I did a little bit off camera. I've got the body all on here. And I was working on the seat last night. We just got the old hinges in here and I put on some springs just for a little extra comfortability because there's no suspension anywhere else. Still waiting on some tires, as you can see. We just got to come up with a way to mount this real quick. And then we'll send it up to Jake.
You got some parts in: intake, carburetor, air filter, and sprocket, because the old one does that. I realized that the main hub for the aluminum sprocket I bought It's like off-centered or off-balanced or something. I don't like. So I don't like that. Got this bigger sprocket here. It's 40 chain, 42, and we're gonna try to put it on it. See how it goes. Kind of forgot to record a lot of this. About a month later, I got the sprocket, all that stuff in, exhaust, all that routed out, teardrop coming out the side. I just cut the axle down so it doesn't stick out. Now I gotta paint the wheels, that one too. I decided instead of doing an intake coming out through here, a lot easier, it just goes down, around, and up. Got the gas tank going on here. Put some tabs in for it to hold it in place. I gotta get some JB weld. And the fuel pump for this should be here sometime soon. Alright, what I think I'm gonna do is take off these bolts, put some rubber on there so it doesn't, sound so rattly. When you drive it, it sounds like everything's falling apart. Same with this back part. I mean, it wasn't latched because I lost one of my pins, but it's like it's gonna die. Okay, so I guess you gotta tighten some things in here too. I like that much better than the plating. So we're gonna flip that over, and then we can paint this. We got the black going. I'll let that dry. Because I don't have any more of these ones, I'm just gonna cut this one in half to the size and then put that thing in. So what we're gonna be doing is things that I should have done a little while ago. Number one is tuning. We should have tuned this a little while ago and the body was off of it. So I didn't get to that. So now it doesn't run right and I need it to run right so I can drive it. It doesn't want to idle. I've touched the idle screw, so gotta mess with the idle. It also still needs brakes. Don't have that. However, we do got the throttle now. I mean, that works. I also gotta plug that hole right there too. Oil's coming out of it. That's not good. Well, you just saw that happen. My shoes just... Nice. 4 days later, I'm still having problems with this thing running. So what I'm gonna do is, I did this on my go-kart. Same air filter, same setup thing going on out the intake. So what we're gonna do is, take this line off, and we're gonna drill a hole in there. Hopefully it should solve our pulse problems. All I had to do was drill, then tap. And just connect everything back together. Forgot to mention, this is like the 5th time I've had to redo this. Slightly annoying. We're gonna go put it in the gas tank and see if everything runs right. It does. Also with the carburetor fixed too. So hopefully that works. So we're gonna put everything in there and then give it a test run. Oh crap. So I ran into a slight problem. This caught on fire when I was welding and there was gas leaking from my gas tank. So I need a new one of these, but I can't go to the store because my car blew up.
There's a reason.
Well, it's idling, but that happened. Idle was too far up when last time I ran it, and then went right into that tire. The reason why it actually ran bad and crappy, I had a bad gasket. I didn't know that, so I turned the idle up to fix the problem, and it's kind of worked, but it would idle high and then go low, idle high and then go low, and kind of take off. So then I put a new gasket in, and then it took off and hit my mom's car, because I didn't mess with the idle after I put the gasket in. So that is why it caused it. Little work of the hammer here has bent it back. I'm just gonna have to re-weld all that. And and then it comes down again. We're gonna try to bend this back with this board. Well, I just rode it. I fixed the steering a little bit as best as I could. Obviously, the frame is bent, so it's gonna be a little hard to turn. It's not as perfect as it was, but it's better. And this is all, I mean, that's all cracked right there.
So this is the part of the video where you watch me build this mower again. And not entirely. After a slight fender bender in the front here, I'm going to rebuild the front end. And with that, I've got a lot of cleaning up to do in this back piece. See how it turns out. Hopefully Jake likes it because I didn't tell him what I was doing yet. As you've seen, front end kind of got crushed a little bit, and Jake already lopped off a lot of the orange piece here, and so I'm going to try my hand at kind of rebuilding the front, maybe making a little bit of a bumper, try and make this thing look mean again. Like I said, I've got some old broken welds and some really terrible Bondo from a long time ago, and this body's kind of been rolled a few times. And with that, when it used to be the mud mower, had much bigger wheels, and I'm sure you can agree that this looks pretty terrible, this gap here. So we're going to fill that in, hopefully. Hopefully that'll make it look a little bit better. I've started with some cardboard cutouts over here, and I'm gonna make one for this orange piece, but something to hug the wheel a little bit better. I think that'll turn out looking good. I cut this piece out, and as you can see, this is kind of my design or idea with the front. Next, I need to cut out a spot for all the steering components, and I did start bending up this front grille. It's a little bit taller, I guess you could say, than the last one. I just need to round these corners to fit, and then we are going to make a little splitter. Let's get to it. Obviously this piece is looking rather rough, but Jake asked me to leave it, so that's what I'm gonna do. Alright, it's been probably a week since I worked on the mower. Plenty of time to look over this front, and I think this is what I'm going to roll with. So today I'm going to try and finish up the front end. moving on to the wheel wells. Hopefully this will stand out a little bit better once it's orange, and this is a different color. I don't know if Jake wants to do this cream color again or white, but I'm gonna prime it for him and then let him decide. Got it all ripped down. Now I'm gonna spend a good bit of time welding and grinding and putting a little extra Bondo on to make some of these edges look alright. Alright, fast forward to the part where Jake is admiring the fresh paint job, and now we're gonna put it together. Ended up liking the primer so much that we painted the top pieces white. Gives it some real good contrast. We'll see how it looks all together. Jim's Lawn Shop.
You've encountered an oops.
David?
And here goes the clear coat too. Something didn't line up. That's full, it's all on the ground, leaking through here.